The blue avian frequencies, the blue avian beings, I've talked about this before on a podcast, are not necessarily, I should say, based in a location. They are intragalactic beings who exist in, around, and through all of the tapestry of creation. And their predominant role is to be keepers of frequencies. And they're very skilled at transmitting those frequencies. Ariyakanaraki Ashasai. Welcome to Activations with JJ, April monthly energy update, and something new this month. I will be providing a calibration to assist you and support you through the month. So make sure you listen all the way till the end. I'll be covering the 4 main themes for the month, as well as providing that energetic calibration and channeled message from our guides. That being said, I want to remind you that even though I am here sharing with you the monthly energy update as per what I tune into for the collective, I 100% support, encourage, and invite you to sit down, to take some time, now that we're at the beginning of the month, and journal, meditate, consider what themes are coming up for you personally, because some of the themes might overlap with mine and what I've tuned into for the collective, and you might have some other ones that come forward that are important for you personally to know and understand and lean into this month. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Theme number 1 is unlocking multidimensional memory through our physical bodies. Now, this theme was, I think, very in alignment coming on the heels of our March personal ascension theme, which was understanding our human biology. We had a beautiful Love Your Body challenge in the starseed community. And if you are not a part, we would love to have you join us there. We're doing so much. Remember that each of these topics is addressed in a 60-minute gathering that takes place at 1:11 p.m. Pacific every Sunday. So just take note of that. I've got a link down below if you're interested in joining the community. But as we tune into our physical body, we understand the multidimensional nature of it, which I think in turn helps us better understand our multidimensional soul. Everything is a reflection of the inner and the outer world, so nothing is not connected, right? As above, so below. Those Hermetic principles apply here. People will ask me, like, why does it matter that I'm multidimensional, that I have galactic aspects or parallel lives? I'm like, well, in the end, it is a reflection of multidimensionality within you. And so our guides for this month that came forward were very, very fascinating. We have the Andromedans, and I tend to see the Andromedans as our future selves. So we have the Andromedans. In addition to that, we have Thoth coming forward. And ever since I went to Mexico, I have been feeling more and more connected to Thoth. The version of Thoth that I connect to happens to be his 11 density self, which you might see as like an oversoul energy, holding a lot of templates for humanity. Another theme that came in connected to this is the halls of Amenti and our DNA. Okay, so those are all of the topics, themes, and things woven into this topic of unlocking multidimensional memory through our physical bodies. If you don't mind, I would love to call in the Andromedans to take a little bit of the lead here for us and assist us in tuning into this topic. So let's just take a nice deep breath and ease into the frequency that wants to come through. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. So much of my podcast is happening beyond what you're just hearing me say. There's an energy that's coming through. And if you choose to receive it, you are welcome to open yourself up to expand your wisdom, remembrance. Yama There's not a lot coming in English that I can translate, but I will tell you that I feel a general sense from our Andromedan family that as many of you who are feeling comfortable to do so, that if you could please imitate my light language, just close your eyes, drop in, and they're inviting us to connect with our DNA, to visualize it, and they're inviting us to visualize it as if it were books on a shelf, that the books were opening up. We are opening more information from our DNA to come into our conscious awareness. It's there, it's in storage, but now we're opening the seals on all of those books. It's time to know who you are. It's time to know that you are the architects of these physical vessels, that you created these physical bodies so that you could do what you are doing as a collective, and that is ascend. But personally speaking, you are underutilizing the body as a tool for ascension personally. And the way that you do not have to look far outside yourself to know and understand the steps and phases of ascension. Just awaken to yourself, awaken to your physical body, awaken to your DNA. Take a deep breath. I am absolutely hearing the recommendation from our Andromedan family of modalities and frameworks such as the gene keys. There are others out there that I think are similar, but that is a very powerful tool and technique that we can use to know and understand how our genes work, how our DNA works. And I feel Toth finishing up this theme by mentioning that his 11th density self is willing and able to support you predominantly through blue avian frequencies, to activate multidimensional templates within your physical body, especially your mitochondria. So he is encouraging you to connect with the blue avians, through whom you will connect to the templates that he holds as a template holder and a key keeper for humanity. Thank you. All right, topic number 2 is always connected to light language. And the reason why I set up the monthly topics to correspond to certain themes is because they also go with the themes for our starseed community. So again, if you are not in the community, it may not make as much sense, but we would love to have you join us in there. The second gathering of every month is a light language circle. So for those of you who are wanting to practice light language, wanting to learn more about light language, you do not have to be an expert at it. I encourage that you step into the community and co-create with us there. This one is very, very fascinating. It has to do with frequencies of creation. Frequencies of creation. So the guides that stepped forward are not surprising to me, but when I was channeling Toth just a moment ago and tuning in, I did not know that he would bring forward the blue avians, but the blue avians are the guides for frequencies of creation theme for light language. So I'm like, of course you did. Of course he did. The blue avian frequencies, the blue avian beings, I've talked about this before on a podcast, are not necessarily, I should say, based in a location. They are intragalactic beings who exist in, around, and through all of the tapestry of creation. And their predominant role is to be keepers of frequencies. And they're very skilled at transmitting those frequencies. So Toth is very connected to them, as was mentioned earlier. And I have no doubt that the blue avian's coming in right now as we tune into this frequencies of creation. I'm hearing and feeling and sensing the basic music scales. So if you look at a piano and the notes on a piano, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, starts over A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We're being invited to shift into the minor and major scales, because as our chakra systems become more complex, these minor and major scales are necessary, are required, whether we are consciously or subconsciously connecting with them. I'm immediately being shown an artist who is playing with really interesting tones and tonality and scales and polyphonic. I'm not good on the lingo, but this would be Jacob Collier. You've heard me talk about Jacob Collier before. I was so excited to be able to see him last year in concert. He does magic. I will leave a link below. Anyhow, Jacob Collier is working with these very, very lesser known scales, very refined and detailed. So I'm hearing music. Yes, the frequencies of creation, obviously through spoken light language, but they're showing me musical instruments. They're showing me jazz music. I'm always drawn to go to jazz clubs when I go to New York City. I love to visit the jazz clubs because those people are channeling. There is so much, I mean, all artists, I believe, are channeling, but the jazz is a different, the improv that they do, the way that they're channeling that music is super, super powerful and magical. And so if you have not already gotten connected to any kind of jazz music, if you are a big jazz aficionado, would you please drop in the chat with some recommendations? Because you can go all the way from the traditional jazz to the avant-garde jazz. That's kind of like your new age type jazz. But all of that, I believe, is music that is reflecting the shift in the consciousness of humanity. So that's what I'm hearing about the frequencies of creation. It's reminding me of a movie I recently saw called Piece by Piece, which was sort of an biography of Pharrell Williams, a music producer. And it's done in Lego. So you might think it's for kids, but I'm telling you, if you watch the movie as an adult, it's very activating and it's very obvious that Pharrell Williams has a role to play here on this planet as an activator. I talked a little bit about it recently in one of my gatherings, and I even played a clip from the trailer of the movie, but he talks about how he has synesthesia. So he sees the music visually in his mind's eye. And there's something about those frequencies of creation that you can visualize, because once you can visualize music, this is what they're saying. Once you can visualize music, you can start to call down those etheric templates into reality. Templates transmitted through frequency of sound and song. Creation templates transmitted through frequency of sound and song. Connecting with your parallel and past lives where you used toning and musical instruments to actually pull down from the etheric realms physical objects to manifest. They are complete. They're like, and we're done. Okay, great. I want to remind you to stick around till the end because I have a special calibration coming through, and I feel like some of these guides I'm bringing in, I actually don't know. It's kind of a surprise for me too when I'm recording this. I'm like, which of these guides is going to come through and bring us this calibration? But my team was like, you need to share the 4 themes and then you need to do a mini calibration. That's really going to benefit the people who are listening to the podcast. Okay, so if you've been keeping count, we're now on topic number 3. Topic number 3 each month is always connected to the theme of planetary grid work and even galactic grid work. It was so incredible last month to go to Mexico and to connect with the land, both in the Yucatan Peninsula and in Teotihuacan and in Mexico City. And I was with some incredible souls. Some of them were very new to grid work, which is kind of cool because they were like, this was their first time, and it was like little children like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. But my inner child always comes out when I'm doing grid work across the board. Some of you might feel like the name grid work seems like very serious, but I'm telling you right now, it's the most fun adventure you've ever had. It's like a scavenger hunt, treasure hunt, and there's always signs and confirmations, and I can't even tell you how incredible it is. I'm really, really excited that the very end of April and the beginning of May, I have our UK events. So we're going to be in Glastonbury and in Tintagel. We're focusing on Glastonbury and Tintagel. Lots about the Albion light body, which I talked about in a podcast a couple of weeks ago. And we'll also be in Avebury, where there is a galactic landing strip, and there are many, many stargates, star portals, star mothers everywhere, all those stones. And there are still some spots available. So if you're interested in joining us in the UK, you can look down below. In addition to that, I have other events coming up this year. We have our Egypt trip and our New Zealand trip. And even though some of the links aren't available to sign up fully, we are taking applications for those and wait lists for those. So please, please, please check out the link in bio if you are wanting to be co-creating with me in person. It's something I always love to do. So this grid work theme is pretty hefty, but it connects with an offering that I'm currently right in the middle of, which is our Nexus offering. We actually just started it on the 30th of March. The registration is still open. If you're here right now and you're like, oh, I wanted to do that. It is a virtual grid work to complement the in-person grid work. We tried this out with Mexico. We had a team that was kind of like Houston, and then we had our ground crew team that was in person, and some overlapped. But what we're doing this time is we have a 6-week month. It's a 6-week, once a week virtual container where we are really leaning into grid work in ways I have never done before. And my husband, Michael, is supporting that container as well, which is really fun for us to be able to co-create it together. One of the biggest things that came forward as I tuned in from our guides is they were encouraging us to incorporate a foundation piece of like just information, because we're not understanding even geography. We're not even understanding geography. We're not understanding enough about science and about how things work with the land. And so the theme, the grid work theme for this month is all about understanding magnetic fields and the planetary grid system. Now, I will tell you right now, I am not the expert on this, and I'm not here to tell you I'm the expert on this. I'm here to say, please drop your favorite resources below. I have a few that I'm going to be sharing with our starseed community, but if you want to go on a deep dive, this podcast isn't it. This podcast is here to activate you to go on a deep dive in whatever way, shape, or form that you want to. One thing I love about the grid work community, you could say, is that there are many grid workers all over the place doing all kinds of things, and I'm very grateful to all of them for their knowledge base, and I've, again, included some of the links to those that I know of. If you know of more, please share with me. Magnetic fields, back to science class, back to physical science class, and planetary grids, which include the ley line systems. This came forward because we're really connecting and tuning into the Michael Mary ley line system in the UK. And so that's why my guides were like, how much do you know about it? I was like, I kind of do. I sort of do. And I'm like, I think I need to learn more. So that's a big one for me too, is this foundational. This is the masculine part of grid work, because I'm really good at the intuitive, just blindfold me and I'll go wherever and I'll just feel it. And that's all wonderful. But balancing it out is very, very, very important. Why? Because we are in a phase, and this came forward when we were in Mexico, activating solar temples across the planet. These are like, you could say solar pyramids, and not all of them look like that. Some of them are also hidden. Some of them are mountains. So activating the solar grid through these very intentional placements of all of these sacred sites and these structures. Thoth is obviously very much an overlighting presence for that. In addition, we have inner earth portals that are opening up right now. That's another thing that came through. And this hasn't come through this strongly ever since the 8-8 portal in Mount Shasta, where we were really tuning into Telos, and we were very much tuning into all of our inner earth friends. So the inner earth portals right now are expanding, opening, activating. If you're doing grid work on your own, that's one thing to focus on, is those inner earth portals, but also the solar temple. So if you're going to Egypt, if you are going to even like Teotihuacan, any temples anywhere that has a sun especially associated with it or traditionally associated with it, please, please, please tune in and see what grid work you can do. If you need support for doing grid work, that's what our community is for. So we have a lot of people in there who are just learning how to do grid work. So when we have our monthly gathering, we're modeling like what grid work is. I was having a conversation with my son the other day, and I kind of was curious because he knows what I do. And I said, well, do you know what grid work is? And for kids, it's like you want to make it as basic as you can. And I'm like, well, actually, he's like, not really, but I think I know. And I said, well, it's really just working with the energy of the planet, like a person, like you would work with the energy chakras of a person as an energy healer. And in the end, I was also just feeling it's all about reconnection. It's all about reconnection. Grid work is about reconnection. It's connecting above and below. It's connecting the cosmic with the inner earth, and it is opening and connecting things. So in a nutshell, right? That's like grid work 101. Now our guides for this topic are the solar dragons and the inner earth grid keepers. And these are councils. We've worked with them before. They came out again when I was working with Mount Shasta, the inner earth. But I will tune in right now just with a tidbit of information. More of a deep dive will happen in our starseed community the third week of the month. And so just allowing yourself to drop in and connect with their energy, inner earth. Some of you, I think, are very connected to dragons and inner earth. It's interesting that it's solar dragons, right, with the solar temples. But I also feel the inner earth grid keepers are dragons, lots and lots of dragons. So this is all about dragons. I'm being reminded about the polarity, the magnetic field, the toroidal field, understanding basic physics. They're laughing. They're like, you guys don't even understand basic physics. Like it's a remembrance. You all knew how to do this. So many of you are alchemists, astronomers in parallel lives. Call in those parallel lives. Ask these parallel versions of yourself to tutor you in this. It's simple, they said. It's simple. Just remember, we need your help. We need your conscious awareness now. Most of you have been doing this in the astral. Most of you have been doing this grid work in dream time. It's time to start to do it more consciously. Taking a deep breath. I'm seeing a solar cross. Solar cross. I'm just going to say that. Solar cross. That's a symbol that the solar dragons are willing to transmit to you right now. If you want to receive through your third eye, this is a solar cross symbol that is going to activate remembrance. Different orders that you've been a part of in on this planet, and that had to do with the sun. I still feel Rosicrucian. I actually feel quite a bit of Rosicrucian energy. There's obviously Atlantean connection. Working with the sun and the great central sun, basically creating reconnection. It's just what I said. They're showing me the solar temples. They're showing me the solar temples connected to our sun, Solaris, and they're showing me the solar temples connecting from our sun to the great central sun, to the great central sun, into all the solar energies that could possibly come into our planet. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Whoo, big deep breath. That was fun. Whoosh, don't forget, we have a calibration coming soon. So got one more topic left, topic number 4. All right, this one is really, really fun, but you got to pay close attention because it's a little bit more complex than some of the themes that have been coming through lately. This theme is quantum architecture, stabilizing higher timelines through unified fields. It's all about this timeline convergence I'm talking about. But that exact verbiage was what wanted to come through. Now, one of the reasons I believe that verbiage is coming through is because it will activate remembrance for many of you to lifetimes where you did this exact same thing, whether on our planet or for other planets. I feel that many of you were involved in the ascension of Lyra, is what I'm hearing. And our guides for this one are really fun because this is a group that I used to connect with a long time ago when I first started channeling. These were the beings who wanted to come through, and this is the Elohim. These are the Elohim architects who are creators. There's a lot to say about them, but for now, I'll just let you tune into that name and their energy frequency. Their energy comes through very telepathically. I will be speaking light language to help you calibrate to their consciousness if you choose to connect with them right now. But I don't necessarily feel that I'm speaking their light language like I do with like Lyran or Dragon or something. It's very telepathic what they bring through because it's super high frequency energy. Toth that I connected to just a moment ago, I'm definitely feeling this connection to theme number 1. because we're talking about quantum architecture for the collective in this topic. And if you want to join us at the end of April, the fourth Sunday of the month, we have our Starseed Connection Circle, which is free and open to the public. We'll be talking more about this quantum architecture stuff. I also have a podcast coming out later this month where I'll be channeling the Elohim. But I'm being shown that this topic number 4 is super connected to topic number 1. So basically, multidimensional awareness through your physical bodies. In the halls of Amenti's coming through. Go ahead and just place your hands like mine right now, because in order to tune into these frequencies, I believe that they are also coming through to provide, along with the blue avians, our calibration. So it's almost like they don't want me to talk, not they don't want me to, but I don't feel called to talk too much in depth about this topic. I feel like the calibration is ready right now, and that the topic will unfold. And I actually have another podcast coming out where I think I will go deeper. Taking a couple of deep breaths, just do a little gentle tapping on your chest. You can do that on your sternum, your ribs. Calling in the blue avians, the Elohim, our teams, ascended masters, councils of ascended masters, councils of golden solar ascended masters. Just allowing yourself to tone. Take a nice deep breath in, and on your exhale, do that again. Just try to copy me if you can. Just give it your best shot. This is like a silly sound that you need to do to calibrate, I know, but it works. They are inviting us to tune into the frequency of numbers, which is what came forward last month. Ooh, yeah, I mean, we also have the Mayan timekeepers here to assist us. This is all about time, timelines, calendars, spirals, sequences, codes, combinations, special combinations of numbers, quantum architecture patterns, quantum architecture patterns throughout the unified field, common threads throughout the unified field. Zeroing in, focusing on common threads throughout the unified field, pulling them all together. One strand by itself isn't very strong. Many strands together makes it strong. This is why we are converging timelines right now. This is why we are being the architects of the quantum field, of the collective consciousness of this planet. You are the quantum architects. We are you and you are us. Don't you remember? We planned all of this. Taking a nice deep breath in and exhale. I remember. I helped plan all of this. I remember. I helped plan all of this. This was intentional. This is intentional. I have the dolphin beings coming in right now, also to provide calibration for your physical body. If you're connected to the dolphins, you might actually have light language come through, because I know a lot of people out there are, and it's just a clicking. If you've never tried it, it's very easy. The water holds the memories of quantum architecture. Please visit bodies of water over the next 3 to 4 weeks in order to enhance your connection to this concept, to this topic, into all the other topics, all the other templates which have been dropped into the space and container of this podcast episode. These are not themes. These are templates. You must understand. These are not themes. They are templates. They are templates dropping into the awareness of this collective. You are remembering templates which you once held. You're reactivating templates. Open, reclaim, and restore. We rise together. Open, reclaim, restore. We rise together. Open, reclaim, restore. We rise together. These are key words and key phrases. They are patterns. They reflect patterns. Patterns are of utmost importance. You must begin to identify patterns. You must begin to become more aware of patterns. Are you not seeing the patterns of your emotional body? Are you not seeing the patterns of your mental body? Are you not seeing the patterns? Are you not seeing that it is time to release certain patterns, templates, habits? Are you not seeing? It is time to see. We know that it is time to see. Taking another deep breath. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Just open your mouth a little bit. And with your eyes closed, you can roll your eyes up. And just allow the rest of the transmission to flow through your crown and your mouth of God. Beautiful. You're doing amazing. You are worthy. It's time to remember. Yes. Receive the golden nectar. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Whoo. Big deep breath. Big deep breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Closing the connection for now. You can come back and revisit. There we go. Oh my goodness, my friends. Wow, that was fun. There's so much going on always. I'm just grateful for all of you for showing up and playing with me in this playground. The podcast is like a playground to me. And all of my events are like a playground to me. And I still have a few spots left in New York City, which I will be seeing you very, very soon. Next week, I'll be coming to New York City and Connecticut. I cannot wait to co-create with you there. If you'd like to join me in the UK also. Very, very fun and lots of fairy, galactic, and all kinds of incredible energy there. Deeply, deeply grateful and in awe of you and how you're showing up in this world. So bringing this to close by letting you know how much I love you and reminding you that I am you and you are me and we are we. Until next time, my friends.